Hi, and welcome back to Dubai Real Estate Philosophy. My name is Ahmed, and today we are talking about the latest launch coming up by Emaar in seafront community, Rashid Yachts Marina. Now, we've covered this community multiple times before. This is also the same community that is right next to basically Beyond's Maritime City, where they're coming up with all these cool things. And of course, Rashid Yachts Marina was their first. It is Emaar's master plan community in the last waterfront community that is available today in this market. We're going to go over all the details. The latest launch is called Baystar, and keep in mind that this is also branded by Vida Residences, which is something that is very important, which we're also going to try to cover on why that is something that is different from their usual launches. And obviously we'll show you guys a lot of the b-rolls and stuff which we have covered already, where we've showed you guys Queen Elizabeth II, we've showed you guys the marina, the Emaar sales center over there. It's a very cool happening place. The nighttime vibes are out of this world, and obviously when Emaar comes in and builds their entire master plan community, it is going to be something even better. Now, number one, obviously Mina Rashid is a world-class super yacht hub. Okay, they have yachts, they can cater up to yachts of up to 100 meters in length. They have a maintained dredge depth of 4 meters below as well, and they can take in 430 wet berths, floating yacht club as well. All this stuff is already existing over there. But moving on, again, Rashid Yachts and Marina, these are again not just renders. This stuff already exists over there. All this stuff is built out. Obviously Mina Rashid is coming on this side, and we're going to talk about what the new basically location of the buildings are at. So now we need to discuss a bit more about where Mina Rashid is located, and we need to understand why this community is so strategically located. Right now, to understand that, we have to understand that this is basically where the old airport is, and if we look over here, this is basically where Maktoum International Airport is, right? And obviously we've covered this many times in our videos. The growth is happening in the Dubai South area, obviously with the Maktoum International Airport coming here. This is Expo 2020, and a lot of the newer launches that are coming are on towards this side. Obviously this being Grand Polo, this as they've highlighted, this is the Heights, and of course we have their flagship community, the Oasis, and of course the already existing community, Emaar South, which is already expanding as well. Now, why this is significant is because if you guys can see, these are all the older communities of Emaar, right? These guys obviously, they had downtown. We made Emirates Living. This is one of the first ones that they've made. Obviously Dubai Marina, Emaar Beachfront, which is the most comparable basically to Rashid, Mina Rashid, and then of course the the one that's under construction right now, Dubai Creek Harbour, and then in the middle where we have the ranches, all these things, Dubai Hills. So if you can see, most of the communities are coming on this side of the map. Now, most of the new people who are moving in are the residents. They like to stay in suburban areas. They live in these kind of areas, but there is one big market that these guys were not tapping, and that is basically all of Old Dubai. If you guys see over here, this is basically the Dubai frame. Now, the reason the Dubai frame is so important is because this entire area that you see highlighted over here, this is basically where Old Dubai was. Of course, this is the older airport. This is the Dira area, all these areas where there's a lot of businesses. There's a lot of shop owners. They've been living here for 30-40 years. They don't want to necessarily move all the way to, for example, Arabian Ranches or Grand Polo or the Heights or the Oasis or all the way to Emaar South, because of course it's not very practical for them to drive up all the way every day to Dira Dubai to see their businesses and all these things. And that's why that's point number one on why it's so cool, right? And why it's so necessary that these guys come up with a master plan community design in an area that has a lot of end use space, right? So that's, and not to mention, this is also the last seafront community available, right? So if we move on over here and we look at this, of course we have Palm Jubilee that's coming up. This is basically your shoreline. Now, all this stuff is obviously kept for commercial. This is Jubilee Port. This is where the residence actually starts, right? So if we look at it over here, and I'll highlight it in this green, this is basically our waterfront build. Now, a lot of this is not freehold, right? If you look at all this in the highlighted area, this is all Jumeirah, also Pools, all these kind of areas, which is not freehold. The only freehold that is available is obviously Dubai Marina, Beachfront, Emaar Beachfront, and then of course we have the Palm. So, and then moving on towards that, all this stuff is not accessible. And then we have here where we have Jumeirah Island, we have this maritime city, and of course we have Mina Rashid. So this is something that's very important. You understood a bit more why this is so strategically located. It is tapping basically this entire market that did not want to move in with these developments. They might have in terms of investment, but in terms of physically living themselves as an end user, it wasn't something that's practical. They've been tapping that for a while now. Obviously they've done an entire first phase, which is already sold out, and now they're moving into the waterfront, which is up and coming, right? In 2022, the first phase was basically unveiled, which was Seagate. We actually have some units that are available for sale. So if you're interested about that, reach out as well. But this was right in front of the marina. These units are now basically nearing handover. A lot of people are going to be moving in soon, and then we're going to see that influx of transactions going on in the secondary market. Now, once that happens, you can be rest assured that prices will obviously start appreciating. A lot of mortgage buyers will come in. A lot of end use people will come in. A lot of tenants will be moving in, and this area is going to start to take shape very fast. And as you can see, that was in 2022. Now moving on, this is the entire map of basically Mina Rashid. As you guys can see, it's like a it's like a V-shaped design, and this is basically where the first buildings were launched. This was basically Seagate. As you can see, it is facing the marina, so it was one of the best opportunities to get in. All these front buildings were the ones that are facing this marina, and if you see, there's going to be a future breakdown which we'll get into exactly where what is where. And we showed you guys a lot of b-roll footage while we were standing here. This is obviously Queen Elizabeth II, the ship that's already there. This is obviously Maritime City, and then this is going to be the entire master plan. Now this area has been sold out. All this stuff, all the back-end buildings, Ocean Star, all these kind of things were done, and now they're launching basically this front side, which will again be facing the water. This is again seafront. This is not an artificial tree or anything like that. This is going to be proper natural seafront living, and again, this is going to be the phase 2. This was launched in 2024. They've already had some buildings over here, and now we're going to talk about what's coming up new. Now, this is going to be, again, phase 2. This entire phase, you guys can see that right now over here, they just have commercial plots, all these things. But now they're going to basically bring that all into the master plan of Emaar. Again, when Emaar comes into an area, they don't just build well building, they bring in their entire expertise, they bring in their partners, and they have a lot of things. And what kind of things they do have? Again, the 5,525 residential units. We're going to have 3 hotels. We're going to have 1 school, 1 nursery, healthcare facilities, ample parks and recreational areas. We're going to get to the location of all those things. But again, always, like we like to emphasize in our Dubai Hills videos and all our Valley videos, which we covered as well, Emaar is always talking about the lifestyle. It's not just that you're buying into a building, you're buying into the brand, you're buying into the lifestyle. And that's what, tenants like. And if tenants like to live there, that's great for us as landlords, where we can rent it out and excellent rental yields. And of course, end users, if they want to buy, they can get a mortgage, and we'd be happy to sell to them, or cash buyers as well, or big rental companies who come in and they pick up units in bulk. So if you're an investor who has units over here, you can be rest assured that it's much more easier to sell or rent than, let's say, a standalone building in a different area. Now, this is basically the framework of what they have decided, right? So waterfront haven like no other. As you guys can see, this is basically the part that we were just discussing that is already sold out. And you can see they have a marina park at the corner. This is the Queen Elizabeth II ship. And then over here, they have a boat plaza where you can basically, where they have a boat ramp. You can park your boats. You can put your boats in with trailers, all these things. They also have those services. Again, it's a full service yacht club. And of course, over here, we have a hotel that is going to be coming up. Again, Queen Elizabeth II Park is going to be there. You can see there is a second hotel over here. And then there is a third hotel over here. These are the 3 hotels that these guys were saying. And then of course we have our local park one over here, another district park over here. We have a sea pool. Now, a lot of people were saying that this might be extended into a beach. They have basically come out with this. It is going to be a pool, kind of like the Creek Beach concept, if you guys remember, in Creek Harbour, where it's not actually swimmable water. This is again the sea as well. It's going to be difficult to make it into a beach, especially considering it was used as a port before. So they have come up with the idea, kind of like Creek Beach. They're going to make basically this an artificial basically swimming pool area, and all these things. And again, we have another park over here, Marina Park, and you guys can see this is the pier where so we do have one main marina which basically parks all the big boats and all these things. Again, as you can see over here, they have an active waterfront, where we have your commercial boats and all these things over here, and then the dotted lines is your recreational waterfront, where we have with like jet skis, fishing boats, these kind of things, but really embracing that entire waterfront lifestyle. Now, this is to show the retail presence. There's going to be a lot of retail shops. There already is at the bottom of a lot of the things, and you can see all the red dotted ones, the lines at the front, all waterfront shops as well. This is a very cool 3D render that these guys have released of how the buildings are going to be like. Again, you can see they're all low rise. It's not something like we're having 50-story towers, so they're going to be relatively low size. And of course, it's bringing in that Emaar design ethos with the manicure gardens, the parks, and obviously all the amenities for all the buildings. Every building has their own pool, has their own park, all these things. It's going to be coming up. And basically, this is the row where the new launch is going to be. This is going to be basically the Vida residences. They're going to be waterfront units, 2 and 3 bedroom. 1 beds are usually on the side, again, the side, or they have the back view. So if you really want to get that appreciation and that view of the gorgeous thing, you obviously have to aim for the 2 or 3 beds. Again, 2 beds are the best sweet spot because they're not as expensive as a 3 bedroom, and you get nice waterfront facing units. Again, these are all the waterfront, basically, price per square foot these guys have laid out right now. As you guys can see, Palm Jumeirah, an average of 6,000. Emaar Beachfront, 5,500. You have Marina at 2,600 JLT, 3,500 for Burj Al Arab, Jumeirah Bay Islands at 4,000. These are all the, and of course, we have Dubai Creek Harbour at 2,600. But we also have a Vida, right? So that we're gonna, compare that as well to the pricing, what the price per square foot was, and what it can appreciate in a very sustainable area. Obviously, these are the locations which do not have waterfront, and you can see the price difference now. Rashid Yachts Marina, we're gonna discuss more about where it is standing now and where it can be. Now, in the last 3 years since they have launched, the price per square foot has increased 50%, which is very understandable considering it is the last waterfront. I remember back in the day when this was launched, everyone was saying, 1,900, 2,000 dirhams per square foot is a steal. It was a steal. It has increased drastically since those days of launching. Now, again, you guys can pause the screen and see this. Again, Rashid Yachts Marina. If you enter into a waterfront development at inception stage, again, phase 1 is sold out, but we still, right now, we're at the second phase. But as you guys just saw from the renders, there still is a lot more to come. And as you guys know, at being Emaar, whenever they do a new launch, not to take away from the investors who are invested earlier, they do increase the price 5 to 10%, especially considering this is going to be a branded residences. There's not going to be a lot of branded residences. So for the people who are looking for units that are basically exclusive, something that is very unique, something when they go later on to rent out to people or sell out to people later on down the line, you're not going to be competing with everyone around you. At least you have a brand, you are associated with a brand that is going to allow you to have better appreciation and better tenants as well. Because you guys can imagine, Vida is going to come in with that lifestyle ethos where you have a concierge, or you have your spa, all these kind of things. These are not going to be serviced, but they're going to provide you that lifestyle. So when you go to rent it out, you're going to get a better, basically even more financially stable tenants. Or when you go to sell it out, you're going to be selling out to people who want that lifestyle, who live that lifestyle, allowing you to gain that extra capital appreciation and extra rental income being associated with that brand, Vida. So these are the commercials. Again, this is the building, Baystar by Vida, gorgeous building coming in with that design ethos. 1 bedrooms at 2.1, 2 bedrooms starting from our average price of 4.6, and 3 bedrooms 6.7. Again, you guys have to understand the 1 bedrooms are either going to be on the side or the back. 2 and 3 bedrooms are going to have that full front water view. And again, I do work with Aeon Trisl. We are #1 rated brokers for Emaar for 2023, 2024, and 2025. We're still holding strong. You guys can do research on us, Aeon and Trisl, Khaleej Times, Gulf News, all these newspapers has covered us many times. We won many awards with Emaar, and not just Emaar, a lot of other developers as well. And the reason that is key is because when it goes to booking units and into these kind of hot launches, you can be rest assured that if you come in early enough, you select the units properly, you can be rest assured that on the launch day, you at least have the best agency representing you to get that specific unit. Now, this is again just looking at the branded residences growing market. If you have residential units within a hotel, residential development adjacent to a hotel, residential developments with a hotel management, again, it's none of these 3 things, or it's a standalone residential development with a brand association. You guys can see that that is basically increasing at 30% returns. And again, these are just the market statistics from everyone. Now, this is something that's very important. You guys can pause the screen and read as well. Why branded residences? Again, being associated with a known brand, and some of the examples that we've seen earlier, Armani, Bulgari, Ritz-Carlton, Four Seasons, and even automotive legends like Bugatti, Mercedes-Benz. All these guys have come out with the residences. Again, Dubai already has these, the Armani residences in Burj Khalifa, the Bulgari, Island, the Bulgari residences on Jumeirah Bay, the Dorchester collection, the Mercedes-Benz places. Why these are so important and what is the point of going with these? So you guys can pause the screen, but these are the same points that I've said earlier. It's all about that brand association. Either they have renowned architects, or the interior design is basically better. They have a brand, a signature aesthetic. Okay, Vida hotels, if you look in basically the Creek Harbour, you look in downtown, in Marina, they all have a very specific design ethos, and you can be rest assured that this building that's coming up is also going to follow suit with that. We discussed about this as well, higher ROI and capital appreciation because you are associated with a brand. Again, recent data from Bayut and Property Finder shows that branded residences command a premium of 25 to 35% in terms of pricing compared to similar non-branded luxury properties in the same area, right? Moreover, rental yields in branded residences tend to outperform the market average by up to 20% in prime zones such as downtown Dubai, Palm Jumeirah, and Dubai Marina. And you can be rest assured the same is going to happen in Rashid Yachts and Marina. So this was basically a wrap for Baystar by Vida in Rashid Yachts and Marina. We showed you guys, and we showed you guys the pricing, we showed you guys the location, why this project is going to be different from all the other buildings that have been released earlier. I hope this video was helpful. Again, hot launches like these is basically timing. The earlier you get and the specific basically units that you want, if you have those requirements early, you can get in early, then only, and then we can assure you that you will be securing those units and aligning yourself, associating yourself with a 5-star brand like Vida. And down the line, when we actually get the handover, we can take advantage of those rental incomes and that capital appreciation. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it was helpful. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye for now.